Hey guys, welcome to Forsk and School. And today we have with us Ankita, who is working in data science team with NPCI, which is National Payments Corporation of India. And we all know that NPCI is enabler of digital payments in India and other things related to this domain. And Ankita is graduate from Manipal University, and she had been a trainee at Forsk as well in the past. So welcome, Ankita, and we are happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much, sir.
yeah, so coming to the first question, Ankita, uh, just tell us about yourself, your brief overview, background, journey so far.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for having me. I feel this is a great opportunity. So a little bit about myself. I'm working as an associate in the data science department at NPCI, which you very well introduced. So I completed my BTech in IT from Manipal University, Jaipur, and I'm a 2020 pass out.
Right.
And as far as my journey goes, I think I can talk about my journey in data science. So, like you said, I was a trainee at Forsk, right? So that's around that time is when I had started exploring the field of data science. I think I was in second year of college when I was
Right.
introduced to the whole concept. And I remember at that time everyone was going gaga over the fact that okay, our data is the new oil, and how do we use it, and how do we make sure that we are deriving some quantifiable outputs out of all of that data. So I think that is where I got the interest. And another thing which really made me inclined towards this field was that data science is such a beautiful field in terms of how it incorporates both the technical side of things and the business side of things.
Hmm.
So while I knew that I would be working in a domain wherein I will be able to use my engineering degree, I also knew that I would be out there learning a lot of cool things about business and products and how I can use the data that we are producing to
Hmm.
improve the overall thing. So I think second year is when I, like I said, I got into data science. After that, I kept reading about whatever the field was and what was happening the latest, and that's when I even joined Forsk. So I that was one major course which really helped me in understanding the basics of machine learning. And I think after that, never looked back. I completed that course. I made sure that my proficiency in Python was
Hmm. Hmm.
to scale. And I did a few projects in college, side projects that I had to do. And then after that, my two internships in third year and in fourth year were also in data science. So I
Okay.
think a lot of data science experience I did get
Right.
before
Right.
joining.
Yeah, so I think your curiosity and zeal for learning, and exploring the data science world has really pushed you along, and I think you are in the right direction, Ankita. So now next question to you is, uh, थोड़ा बता सकते हो कि एनपीसीआई का क्या रोल रहता है डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस में एंड पेमेंट्स ऑनलाइन पेमेंट्स इन इंडिया, जस्ट ब्रीफ अबाउट दैट.
So yes, surely. So I'm sure Abhi, at this point everyone has been using UPI, right? So NPCI ka flagship product is UPI, which is Unified Payments Interface.
Right.
And एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो any kind of transaction that is happening digitally at this point in time is somewhere or the other going through NPCI.
No.
So whether it is, like I said, whether it is UPI, then our other product is the Rupee cards, right? All of that is our products. Whether you are passing a toll plaza and you're transacting through an NETC FASTag, that is our product. Whether you are making immediate payments, so IMPS is our product. Whether you're transacting at an ATM, NFS is our product. So all in all, आप ये सोच सकते हैं कि हर तरफ से any kind of digital transactions that are happening, they are going through us. So NPCI is basically the backbone for fintech in India.
That's good. I think backbone is the right term that you have used, Ankita. So while working in the data science team, Ankita, what kind of tools or technology stack or coding language you generally go with? Generally, what kind of choices you make in that domain?
So I think data science choices in terms of the tool stacks are very, very like generalized only. Like we are
Hmm.
using Python is the language which is being used mostly. We also use Java for certain services, but
Okay.
mostly on an overall basis, we are using Python. Apart from that, since we have a lot of data and we are
Mhm.
like huge amounts of data, so we're using Hive, we have to use Spark, then there's a lot of like online real-time data coming in, right? So to process that, we have to use Kafka and Redis and things
Oh,
like that. So there is a lot of open source, like a lot of open source tool stack that we have, which we are using here, but predominantly it's Python, and like in terms of coding language, it's Python.
okay. Good. So while Ankita, you were telling about yourself, so you also included that how did you started in data science, right? So I'm not going to focus on that, but most of the time I have seen, particularly the freshers, right, who want to make into data science world, उनको ये सवाल रहता है कि इंटरव्यू कॉल्स नहीं आ रहे, राइट? कैसे अप्लाई करूं, वेयर टू अप्लाई, राइट? सो आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम योर experience that how come you got into a position where you were kind of getting the interview calls. How did you kind of engaged with the prospective employees and companies in that way?
Sure. So I think इसका एक बहुत ही बड़ा रोल जाता है to the fact that my internships were also in data science.
Hmm.
So usually companies out there, at least 2 years back, they were all looking for people who had some sort of experience in data science. राइट अभी वो सिनेरियो चेंज हो रहा है बिकॉज पीपल आर नाउ रियलाइजिंग कि नहीं अगर हमें लोग चाहिए डेटा साइंस में तो हमें उनको लाके ट्रेन करना पड़ेगा वी कांट बी गोइंग आउट एंड लुकिंग फॉर ओनली एक्सपीरियंस्ड folks. So that scenario thankfully is changing a little and things are looking better for freshers in general in the industry. But personally speaking, I think मेरा सबसे बड़ा पॉइंट जो आई थिंक स्टैंड आउट करा वो ये था कि मेरी 2 internships दोनों की दोनों they were in data science. And also other than that, I made sure that my portfolio was very, very specific to data science and how I was exhibiting my capability in that particular field. So जो भी चीज मैंने सेकेंड ईयर के बात करी थी वो कुछ ना कुछ कहीं ना कहीं रिलेटेड डेटा साइंस से ही थी, चाहे वो पाइथन का कोर्स था या फिर वो एमएल का कोर्स था या फिर कोई साइड प्रोजेक्ट जो जैसे मैं आपको बता रही थी या फिर anything that I was doing post that was in data science. So I was able to show that thing on my resume. So it kind of showed consistency in my endeavor to be in this field. Other than that, मैंने एक और चीज बहुत ही एक्टिवली उस टाइम पे करी थी. I was in touch with people over LinkedIn and I was
Okay.
basically what I felt at that time as a fresher was that my understanding of this field versus what it actually requires from a person is very different. हम लोग बहुत ही ऊपर ही से पढ़ पाते हैं इंटरनेट पे कि डेटा साइंटिस्ट क्या होते हैं, हम जाके कोई कोर्स करेंगे उस पे भी ऊपर से दिखाया जाएगा, बट एक्चुअली जब आप डेटा साइंस में काम करते हैं किसी कंपनी में तो इट्स वेरी इट्स अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑल टुगेदर.
Right, right.
So to get a realistic expectation and understanding from of the field and what the industry expects from the people, I reached out to people over LinkedIn and वहां से मुझे पता चला कि कैसे टाइप के स्किल्स आपको चाहिए, कैसे टाइप की चीजें आपको डेवलप करनी चाहिए, whether it's your soft skills or whether it's the way you are प्रोजेक्टिंग द होल थिंग. तो उस तरीके से बेसिकली उन पॉइंटर्स को साथ में लेते हुए मैंने अपना पूरा प्रोफाइल setup kara tha for data science. So I think that was one thing that really helped me in terms of showing to the other person that I'm interested in data science. So I think yes, that was one thing that I constantly did to get an interview going.
That's very nice. I think it's a very important message to aspiring data scientists as well, Ankita. Now coming to the another aspect, another view that okay, to become a data scientist, obviously you have to have the good technical expertise or like coding side uses of the tools as well. But how about the soft skills part of the data science, right? So what is your understanding regarding this कि एक data scientist को एक successful like getting the job is mostly ठीक है technical interviews पूछे हुआ है उसमें आपने कैसा perform किया, but once you are into the job I think other than the technical skills सॉफ्ट स्किल्स का कितना बड़ा रोल रहता है तुम्हारी डे टू डे सक्सेसेस में या प्रोजेक्ट एग्जीक्यूशंस में, टाइमली डिलीवरीज में? सो कैन यू लाइक टॉक अबाउट दैट?
श्योर। सो सर मेरा एक कहना है कि टेक्निकल स्किल्स तो हम सब सीख ही लेते हैं, राइट? वी आर ऑल इंजीनियर्स एंड वो टेक्निकल स्किल्स का कैलिबर हमारे अंदर आ ही जाता है जब हम वो 4 साल की जर्नी शुरू करते हैं, राइट? बट देयर इज वन थिंग जो, एंड आई एम सो हैप्पी आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा बिकॉज दिस क्वेश्चन इज नॉट रियली आस्क्ड अ लॉट, बट आई थिंक इट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स जो मैंने अपने ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 years के प्रोफेशनल करियर में देखी है. Soft skills for any person, any professional in the corporate settings is extremely important. For data scientists, it becomes even more important. और ऐसा क्यों है? ऐसा इसलिए क्योंकि हम लोगों ने हमेशा से सुना है कि data science is all about storytelling, right?
Right.
Storytelling is essentially just data with soul, right? Put that soul into your data to put that story, that message कि आप जो आपका एनालिसिस निकला है उसको आप सामने वाली ऑडियंस तक पहुंचा सके, कि वो एक्चुअली उसको यूज कर सके, यूटिलाइज कर सके अच्छे डिसीजंस लेने के लिए. बिकॉज क्या होता है यूजुअली अगर आप एक डेवलपर है तो आपका इमीडिएट स्टेक होल्डर भी एक टेक्निकल पर्सन ही होगा जिसको आपको समझाने की जरूरत नहीं कि आपने क्या किया है. बट इन जनरल डेटा साइंटिस्ट का रोल ऐसा रहता है जिसमें कि आपको आपके स्टेक होल्डर्स more often than not they are not from the technical side. They would be the product team or they would be some external stakeholders for whom you are trying to analyze that data, right? So उस point पे अगर आप अपना एनालिसिस नहीं समझा पा रहे हो सामने वाले को, आपने डेटा के साथ मैजिक कराओ बट अगर आप वो चीज को आगे बता नहीं पा रहे तो उसका फिर कोई पॉइंट नहीं है. सो as a data scientist it's extremely important to have very good soft skills. I cannot even emphasize on this enough. And it's not only about trying to explain people कि आपने क्या analyze किया, it is also to be able to understand कि उनकी requirement क्या है. So till the time you are not articulate enough, till the time you are not asking the right questions, till the time you are not having that capacity to be in a setting जहाँ पे आप लोगों से communicate करके उनकी expectation समझ पा रहे हो आपसे और आप उनका पूरा चीज business समझ पा रहे हो. So it is an extremely important facet of being a data scientist. Like I said in the starting, right? It's data science is a beautiful marriage of technology and business. तो अगर आप business side के लिए तो हमें चाहिए ही चाहिए. And not only soft skills, I think even presentation skills are extremely important. And by presentation skills, I mean how you're presenting your data, right? I feel बहुत ही अगर आप impactful तरीके से अपने numbers जो हैं बता सकें लोगों को, तो उसका जो रिजल्ट है वो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम्स इंक्रीज हो जाता है vis-a-vis trying to just give the same numbers without any proper presentation or without showing the impact. So I think as a data scientist it is extremely important to have very good communication skills.
Right. So I think you have very well summarized regarding the soft skills, Ankita, because देखो टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ साथ if you don't have the understanding of the business or the requirement of the customer, right? Sometimes we are very fascinated about the technology, but if you're not able to understand the context, then I think you cannot do the wonders with the data science skills, right? So you have to have the right presentation as well. And sometimes I think communication is not only about the English कि अब मैं English बहुत अच्छा बोल सकता हूँ तो ही मैं I can communicate well. I think जो एक कनेक्ट तुम्हें कंटेक्स्ट के अंदर देना है वो इम्पोर्टेंट है सबसे ज्यादा. सो that was a good point, Ankita. Now coming again to your NPCI work. So generally एक typical work day किस तरीके का रहता है, Ankita? Because you're working in a setup which is kind of having a hand from the government side as well, I'm assuming, right? तो generally किस तरीके की day to day activities में तुम इन्वॉल्व रहते हो? आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि टेक्निकल कितना, नॉन टेक्निकल कितना, लाइक व्हिच इज ओके टू लाइक शेयर as per the your guidelines as an employee. So whatever you can share so that you can talk about that.
Sure. So मेरा जो अभी जो करंट प्रोजेक्ट है, इससे जो पहले वाला प्रोजेक्ट था, दैट वाज सम प्रोजेक्ट जहाँ पे कि आई वाज इंटरेक्टिंग विद रियल टाइम डेटा.
Okay.
एंड उस टाइम पे नॉट रियल टाइम पर से, बट इट वाज a very huge amount of data, rather that is the right term for the product that I was working on. तो वहां से बहुत ही ज्यादा वॉल्यूम्स में डेटा मेरे को आता था जो मुझे प्रोसेस करना रहता था. So in terms of the kind of work that I was doing technically, I feel one thing that a lot of fancy data science courses will not tell you online is that actual data science काम करने के लिए आपको बहुत सारा grunt work put in करना पड़ता है in terms of data cleaning, data processing, analyzing, right? Initial वाला जो काम रहता है, जो हम लोग किसी भी कैगल कंपटीशन में थोड़ी देर करके और फिर मॉडलिंग पे ध्यान देते
Generally,
हैं,
वहाँ पे
वो जो
already you get a very clean data, right?
एग्जैक्टली सो जो वहां पे डेटा इंजीनियरिंग एफर्ट आपका 20% होता है और मॉडलिंग एफर्ट 80% होता है, यहाँ पे उसका उल्टा है.
Right.
क्योंकि आपका डेटा क्योंकि आपका डेटा इतना बड़ा है कि आप उस पे मॉडल्स, इतने फैंसी फैंसी मॉडल्स नहीं लगा सकते, राइट? आपको आपका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे भी डिपेंड करता है. सो एट द एंड ऑफ इट, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू आर how you're cleaning your data, how you're making sure that it is a good input for your model, right? Because your model is as good as the kind of input that it's getting. So work wise, technically data और डेटा को क्लीन करना, डेटा को प्रिपेयर करना एंड देन उसको एक यूजेबल फॉर्मेट में लेके आना जिसपे कि हम मॉडल्स रन कर सके, वाज समथिंग दैट वाज अ मेजर पॉइंट, लाइक मेजर time consuming point at that time. At present, I'm working in the DL space. So currently, the kind of data that I'm working on does not have a lot of banking regulations. But जब हम so UPI का data जो है mainly उसके साथ आपके banking transactions, क्योंकि banking transactions की details रहती हैं, that is where the whole compliance issues comes into place. But on an overall level, data science team in general is not very like, we don't have to go out there and communicate with the government per se. There are other teams for that.
Right.
We coordinate with them, and if it's required, if there is a certain particular use case जहाँ पे हमारे input की जरूरत है, जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि हमने डेटा एनालाइज किया और हमें इस चीज के बारे में उनको बताना है, that is where we go forward and do that.
Oh, good. As an entry-level data science engineer, how someone can join your team? क्या तरीका रहता है उसमें?
ये तो आपने बहुत ही आसान क्वेश्चन पूछा है, as from the perspective of NPCI. अभी NPCI is basically looking at a lot of freshers. I mean, at this point, 70% of my team is freshers.
Oh.
So you have not 70, a little less than that, but you get the point. So
but good number, right?
Very good number, a very good number of freshers. And apply करने के लिए, I think you can directly go to the LinkedIn site of
career page है उनका,
right? वेबसाइट पे भी है, लिंक्डइन पे भी है, आपको दोनों जगह मिल जाएगा. एंड वहां से आप कॉलेज के बाद डायरेक्टली ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं NPCI. देयर इज नो I also joined like that. I was right out of college I joined.
Yeah. Okay, so although तुमने इस सवाल का जो अब मैं पूछने वाला हूँ सवाल का जवाब तुमने बहुत पहले ही दे दिया है, but मेरा जो next question है, which is like, because when we come from a very academic kind of a setup, Ankita, right, we are mostly told by the faculties or the kind of the driving forces in that academic zone कि भैया डेटा साइंस बनने के लिए ना यू हैव टू हैव मास्टर्स और PhD काइंड ऑफ डिग्रीज, राइट? और यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी स्ट्रांग इन मैथमेटिक्स. तो कैन यू पॉन्डर ऑन दैट kind of statement that do really people need to have MS or PhD kind of degrees to become data science in the industry?
So as far I can only talk from my experience, right, in the past 1.5 years. I personally don't feel that it is something which is a requirement. It is something which is good to have, right? If someone is coming in with an MS in data science or a PhD in data science, obviously their understanding of things is going to be at a much higher level. but do we need that in solving day to day problems, or can we not learn that through solving the problems ourselves by learning every day? Empirical learning, I feel, is more important than actually a formal education, because that empirical learning teaches you things in a way in which formal education can
Right.
never do. So at least for NPCI, I don't think it is a mandatory requirement for a person to be having an MS or a PhD in data science to at least join the company. But in general, in terms of the industry, हाँ, लोगों को obviously prefer करा जाता है जो कि MS and PhD करके आते हैं. But I personally don't feel that in the past, like you absolutely need it. क्योंकि आपको जो आप देखिए, the thing is that data science and AI, everything is a very very vast field, right?
Vast and
So there
evolving
is
as well, right? In a very dynamic pace.
extremely dynamic way में evolve हो रहा है. So I feel by the time आप वहां से पढ़ के आओगे तब तक वो चीज हो सकता है irrelevant हो चुके हो. And the second thing I also very strongly feel about is that you choose your battles when you join a company, right? You choose a particular project, और उस particular project के बारे में आप in depth पढ़ते हो. अब आपको पूरे सब चीज के बारे में आप पढ़ के आ रहे हो, but आपको यूज एक ही चीज करनी है. So that basically is something that I strongly feel कि you in your own self become proficient enough to solve a particular problem when you start working in it and when you truly engross in it. So on a higher level, I don't think that it is a mandatory requirement. It's a good to have thing.
So I
At
think
least in
like
NPCI.
particularly I think the roles which are very specific to research might need MS or PhD kind of stuff. But I think still
Yes.
the industry is more of like, where uh, people are looking for problem solvers, right? Who can understand the problems and the business aspect of it, right? Okay. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो है अंकिता तुम्हारे लिए है, उनको शेयर करना, द पीपल हु आर एस्पायरिंग डेटा साइंटिस्ट. बहुत सारे लोगों को ये सवाल रहता है कि सर शुरुआत कैसे करें, समझ में नहीं आ रहा. बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं यार डेटा साइंस में बहुत सारी जॉब्स हैं, लाइक डेटा इंजीनियरिंग इज अगेन अ बिग काइंड ऑफ अ डोमेन इन डेटा साइंस इटसेल्फ. और कि सर समझ नहीं आता कहाँ पे अप्लाई करें, कौन सी कंपनीज है. तो लाइक व्हाट इज योर काइंड ऑफ एडवाइस टू दीज पीपल जो अभी कॉलेज में है या फिर कॉलेज से ग्रेजुएट हो चुके हैं लेकिन जॉब नहीं मिला है अभी तक, राइट? इस तरह के लोगों को क्या एक तुम प्रिस्क्राइब करोगे कि यार क्या स्ट्रेटजी उनको लेनी चाहिए?
So मैंने अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी के बारे में तो आपको बता ही दिया है.
राइट राइट राइट.
Just like to again reiterate on that कि आपको एटलीस्ट अपना एक आपका to enter data science, I feel that your basics should be very very strong. So आपके basics हैं, आपका Python है, आपका SQL है, आपके जो presentation tools है, ये सब जो basic आपके toolkit है, वो आपका you should be extremely proficient in this. After that, when you move on, you have to build your profile in such a manner that it is relevant to the person who's taking you for a job, right? After this, एक बारी अगर आपने अपनी प्रोफाइल अच्छे से बना ली है और आप सामने वाले को ये एहसास दे सकते हैं कि हाँ ठीक है, I am interested. I also feel that aspiring data scientists should also look into the kind of industry that they want to work in. Like for example, in my case, I was very interested in payments, and I was very interested in the field of fintech itself. So when I got the opportunity to work at NPCI, I was able to do better because the kind of product that I'm working in, I'm interested in it.
Right.
अगर आप अभी मुझे किसी ऑटोमोटिव इंडस्ट्री में डाल देंगे उसके डेटा के बारे में, जहाँ की डेटा के बारे में मुझे इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं है या वो प्रोडक्ट में इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, जस्ट रैंडम एग्जांपल है आपके पास, so I will probably not be as much into it as I probably would be in a field जहाँ पे कि product ही मेरे interest का है. So this is something that a lot of people don't really focus on क्योंकि उनको ऐसा लगता है कि data science में job चाहिए. But from my own personal experience, I feel that even the industry that you choose is very very important. And ये मैं अभी आपको इसलिए बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि आजकल like I said data science के jobs हर तरफ से आ रहे हैं. So for someone who wants to do well they have to make sure that they are proficient enough and they are ready to take on any data science problem. And the second thing is that they're going in a place where they actually feel interested about. So that narrows down your scope, right? कि आपको कहाँ पे जाना है. आपको 50 जॉब दिख रहे हैं, उसमें से ठीक है अगर आपको 10 पसंद आ रही है, ना उस 10 में से आप देखो कि आपको कितना एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है. In my opinion, I think startups are a great place to start. Because there you get a lot of exposure in terms of learning a lot of new things. So I feel वो चीज बहुत ही ज्यादा important है. Like at NPCI, the culture is very startup like. So the kind of growth that I've seen in myself in terms of being in such a dynamic environment, I think वो चीज आपको एक MNC में नहीं मिलती, क्योंकि I have people who are working at MNCs and all, वो data science के job के उससे उनको excel करा रहे हैं. So it is not really.
Right. You got it very correctly.
So you have to be very, very careful when you're going in for a job. But as a personal advice, I would say that startups are a good place to join, or anywhere where you're getting to solve the problem from the very grassroots level and not just analyze the data ki theek hai, you've been given Tableau and aap us pe pure din baith ke reports banao. I personally feel that that is not what a data scientist would do. A data analyst would be there, but a data scientist would want to create things जो आपको एक startup में मिल सकती है. So that is my take on at least where they should be looking.
Right.
And अभी तो इतने startups हैं, तो it's a good market out there.
Right, because AI ML itna hai ki now it is also going into a non-tech domain. Like, even the non-tech companies are also using it, right? Whether it's a fintech, whether it's a kind of insurance, whether it's a education, whether it's a healthcare, whether it's a kind of your supply chain, right? There are a lot of a kind of domain here which is now kind of saying that yes, AI can be very well used in all those domains. So now a very specific question again, Ankita. As a woman, right? How do you feel being a data scientist? Like, should I ask this question first of all to you, right? Because you come from like from your experience, you can tell that yes, you should ask it, or like it's just a question because ठीक है यार अंकिता से पूछ लेते हैं, या फिर पूछना ही चाहिए कि यार वुमेन इन डेटा साइंस और टेक डोमेन क्या चैलेंज कुछ अलग से है इसमें, या फिर नहीं, it's a very completely democratic.
I would not say that women are very, very openly accepted in the tech field as such. ऐसा कहीं ना कहीं वो disbalance है. मैं इस चीज को deny नहीं करूंगी. Women in technical domain, I'm saying. Women in data science becomes very specific, and again, I can only talk from my experience of the past 1 year. In my company, I have not seen any kind of distinction between male workers and female workers. In fact, मेरे department की head ही एक female है.
Nice.
So I personally, touchwood, have not experienced this bias, but I am aware that ऐसा out there है. क्योंकि there is a massive difference in the ratio of the number of men who join the tech field versus the number of women.
Right.
But I also feel that because of, let's say, a lot of things we've already discussed before, and abhi to I feel gone are the days when girls used to feel any less than men in terms of technology. I mean, I am seeing, I work with a lot of very, very smart and intelligent and up to date technical women. So I don't think that it is a problem going forward. I think वो पुराने bias को खत्म करने में थोड़ा time लगेगा. But like if you're lucky like me, where you get to be in an environment जहाँ पे कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, so that is a great thing. But on an average, I think ये चीजें बहुत ही change हो रही हैं. अब अगर किसी woman data aspiring woman data scientist है जो ये देख रही है, I don't think you should be worried about your scope because you're a female. So I don't think that's a problem.
That's nice to hear from your side on this. So thank you so much, Ankita. It was fabulous from your side, and we are very sure that you are going to make it big in data science domain. And best wishes from our side, from Forsk team. And thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So it was a lovely, lovely experience.